Hi everyone, welcome to the cabin at Frog Hollow. Today we're talking about the history of some of these flies that we're bringing to you, a spot where they're all going to be in one place on our YouTube channel, as well as Facebook and other social media sites. So we're happy you're here. Today we're talking about the Adams fly, arguably the most popular dry fly that's ever been developed. It's been tied literally millions of times over the course of its life in many different versions. I'm going to show you three versions today, the most popular of those, of the many versions that are out there. But the first one, of course, we should talk about the original. Originally, this fly was tied by a gentleman by the name of Leonard Halladay. Leonard lived in a little community south of Traverse City called Mayfield, and he tied this fly for a friend of his by the name of Charles Adams, which would come and fish with him on the Mayfield Pond. And so Mr. Halladay developed this fly for Charles Adams, and so he named the fly after him, which is the Adams. The fly is kind of indicative of the times. The tail feathers was of golden pheasant tippet. The body was of muskrat fur that was dubbed on the thread with a little bit of wax. The wings tied upright and spent a little bit. Those were the tips of Plymouth Rock rooster neck hackles. And then the hackle of the fly itself was a blend of Rhode Island red, or we would call it today Coachman brown, with another hackle, which was the grizzly or the Plymouth Rock to complete the fly. The thread used was black, probably silk at that time, because we're talking, 1920s, early 20s. So nylon was around, but mostly used and developed beyond that into things like threads and filaments and things of that nature. So the Adams fly is just an amazing fly. This is the original version as we know it. Today, most commonly, we will see it tied with not the golden pheasant tippet, but a blend of the Rhode Island red hackle and the grizzly hackle for the tail material. Other than that, the fly remains virtually the same spent upright wings, the same hackling material, the same body material. Only the tailing material has changed over the years. So you don't see very many of the original version out there commercially tied. You see more of this version. Some versions I see out there have moose mane for tails because it's very stiff, but this is the most common version. Probably the most common of all of the Adams today is the parachute version. This same body material, same tailing material, the upright wing is of deer belly hair, which is white, stacked, and then a blend of a brown hackle and a grizzly hackle palmered around the base of the upright to make it a parachute. Adams is tied from size 8 to 22. It's meant to imitate about everything that there is out there, and it does quite well, obviously. So if we keep in the thought process of, thinking like a trout when they're feeding on something, let's say a size 16, we tie on a 16 parachute Adams, for heaven's sakes, and generally that does the trick. So size, How does the fly silhouette? And then lastly, color. So everything here is very natural, blends well with the natural world. The Adams fly is a great fly. Tie it with love, fish it with confidence.